All right, everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Dunes of Fate. We are here to play the second session of this campaign. In the first session, there was a tomb, kind of a tomb raiding type historical, a historical site getting investigated, and one thing led to another, and the group ended up getting taken up in some kind of strange magic and dropped into the desert. Now, with that being said, I would like to remind all the players, if you want to hear the music that I've queued up for this session, make sure you go to the tracks at the top left corner of your screen and that you unmute it. I have to reload mine because it's not loading correctly. This happens a lot. Make sure you go up to the track section and you unmute it so that you can hear the music that's going to be played throughout the session. I would also like to remind the players, make sure that if you're not directly involved in the scene or anything, maybe you mute your mic so that we don't have an overflow of noise. Since we do have quite a few characters, there could be a lot of noise coming through. We want to try to make the audio as high quality as possible. To the viewers, I would like to say I want to give a huge shout out to our partner level Ko-Fi supporters, Solstice and David. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, both the YouTube and the Discord, and even the email list. And since we have our first gold level supporter present in the game, Craig, who is playing Rice Adar. Craig, thank you so much for supporting the channel as a gold level supporter. We really appreciate it. This is what keeps GM Philosophy moving forward. I also want to give a huge shout out to all the counselors who make this channel possible. John Haney and Avery, who are both players in tonight's game, are counselors on the GM Philosophy Discord. So if you want to be awesome like us and play awesome games like us, consider joining the Discord. Link is in the description, I think. If not, well, I guess just message us and we'll send it to you, because I think I added it in the description, but right now I'm concentrated on the game. So that's what we're going to do. In the last session, the group ended up dropping through a magical portal onto this desert terrain with a hieroglyphic image in the center. Now, there were two characters who were not present at the end of last camp, or at the end of last adventure session. Waz and Avery were not here. They were somewhere else. And what I would like to do is I would like to hear Waz and Avery, before we start, describe what their characters were doing and why they were not present in the last session's activities. So let's go with Waz first. Now, Waz is playing Inafil, and Waz and I are actually involved at this point in 3 games together. So Waz, it's great to have you on the team. Super pumped to be embarking on another storytelling adventure with you. And I'm super pumped that Avery and I, who have been involved in a couple different storytelling adventures thus far, I'm super pumped that this seems to be probably the second campaign that we are embarking on together. So Avery, it is great to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
So Waz, let's start with you. Where were you in the last session? You were not with the characters. Let's just basically give a summation of the events leading up to Inafil's situation toward the end of the last session.
Yeah. So Inafi.
Inafi. I'm sorry. I was pronouncing it wrong the whole time. All right, continue.
Yeah. Inafi Diggle Wiggle, a gnome librarian. So last session, he was actually receiving his orders to come to this mission on this expedition and do the cataloging for the library of Greyhawk. So he's been busily packing and copying down every spell he had access to, collecting all the components for them, collecting all these nicks and knocks and everything that he needs that he thinks he needs. This is his first expedition.
At what point? Now, there's a point where Inafi would have been taken up by the magic of the convergence, which was you are actually familiar with at this point. The audience, if they're not watching the Barren Lands, they may not be quite as up to date on this, but where would you say Inafi would have been in that moment when he was taken up?
Oh, he was in the library. He would have been waiting patiently for to enter the area.
So literally in the library of Greyhawk, in the University of Greyhawk, you would have been taken up in this magical vortex of light in rainbow colors.
Yes.
At the same instant as the group was taken up in the last session. Now, Avery, what would your character have been doing leading up to the end of last session? I know you had slightly different machinations for your character. Go ahead and describe them for us.
Yeah, so I'm playing Vizara. She's a Githyanki paladin. And she left her creche because she kept having visions of a tomb in the desert. And so she basically went AWOL from her creche in the Gith to go find this tomb that she keeps having visions of in her dreams. And she found it, and now she's found the party here adjacent to what she's doing and has just been watching from a distance and summing them up, trying to figure out are they innocent explorers? Are they enemies? Who are these people? And
then at that moment, when she was watching them from a distance, she would have been taken up in the magic. And does that sound correct? Is that about the timing that would have happened?
Correct.
Okay. Would have been taken up by the magic of whatever it is that's happening here, the phenomenon. And all of these characters would have been dropped at the same time. Now, with that being said, Endil, Malik, and Rise would have been dropped along with the professor and their guide, Oka. They would have been dropped a few seconds before Avery's character and Waz's character would have been dropped. So Endil, Malik, and Rise, you would have basically woken up, and like we saw in last session, you woke up and you saw that the professor's leg seemed broken. She was holding on to a large hourglass and, basically kind of whimpering in pain. And then you would have heard another magical sound. It sounded like the twisting of magical energies and an intense snap. And you would have seen this beam of light coming down. This beam of light would have been twirling with like rainbow-like colors. And then these distortions of reality. And they would have come from the sky and landed with a slapping sound into the sand. You would have seen the sand kick up. And then you would have seen these figures appear as if beamed into existence, as if their atoms just materialized from bright light itself. And you would have seen Waz, how do you pronounce it? Inafi's form. And then Avery, what's your character's name one more time?
Vizara.
You would have seen Inafi and Vizara's forms just materialize in the sand. So they appear literally about 10 seconds after you have appeared. And they just snap into existence, and then you hear literally the visceral sound of like a snapping of magical energy. It reverberates and is reminiscent of a teleportation sound, but it's still a little bit different. And now you are all here in what seems to be the desert, the wind blowing, hot sunlight beating down. And you are all in this, what seems to be kind of a crater with what seems to be like a geometric symbol emblazoned upon the sand. Not just marked, but it almost looks like the heat from whatever it was that zapped you all here has left literally black residue in the sand. But even now, as you look at it, it's starting to kind of blow away with the wind of the desert. And that is where we are going to open it up. It is an open game. You are all here. And in the last session, we did not introduce characters or say what they look like. So in this session, I would like everyone to go through, and I'd like them to describe what they look like. Let's start with Endel. John Haney, let's start with you. Describe what they see when they look at your character.
Okay, Endel is a little bit on the taller side for a gnome, about 3'10", and he wears these blue garments that are, designed for travel, but they're really, he's really well put together. He looks like formal, and he is wearing a leather armor, and he's currently holding a couple of scimitars, and he's ready to go. He is a little bit gray, if speaking in human terms, probably looks to be in his late 40s. Gnome years, he's 113, and he beard, big twirly mustache, and currently looking very confused and very on alert. He's got his scimitars out, and he's kind of eyes darting all over the place.
All right, now let's go to Inafi. Describe your character for us, Waz.
Sorry, I got to get used to that name too. So, Anafi is the quintessential bookworm. He's a gnome. He's about 3'6". He's weighs about 40 pounds at best, and that's with all his extra gear. He's wearing what he thinks are appropriate sand-coloured robes with his and he's carrying a 10-foot pole adorned with feathers, and you can see one of them is a quill, and around his neck, if you're very quiet, a weasel stick out from underneath his robes. And that's Anafi Diggle-Wiggle.
All right. Now let's hear from Avery. Describe Vizara. Is it Vizara?
Yeah, Vizara, either one's fine.
Vizara. Go ahead and describe what this character looks like.
So yeah, she's a Githyanki. She's about 5'4". She has very pale ivory, like almost white skin, with the like traditional black speckle that the Githyankis have. She's thin and lean. She's got braided hair that is blonde and pink. She is wearing sandish colored robes. She's got a glaive in one hand and a shield in the other. And she is on high alert and darting, her eyes are darting from person to person, trying to figure out if she needs to start stabbing.
Gotcha. Would any of these characters recognize this character, or would this character be kind of like new to all of them?
I don't think I would know anyone here.
Okay. So none of you recognize Vizara. All right, let's go to Malik. Malik, describe what your character looks like.
Malik's about 3 foot tall, wearing black studded leather armor. He is about 60 to 75 pounds, chubby halfling, and currently cowering behind the professor.
All right. Now let's go to Rise Adar. Describe your character for everyone else.
So I'm a human druid, and towering over everyone else in the group, this group of gnomes I'm with, and Githyanki. But so I'm about 6'3" and about 130 kilos. I don't know what that, but I'm quite stocky, not super muscular. But and that's kind of exaggerated by like wearing really big, thick furs. Which, even though we're in the desert, I'm constantly using my magic to kind of keep a bit of frozen water on my underclothes, so I'm always cool even though I'm wearing big, thick furs. And I'm feeling pretty rough at the moment. I got really shaken up when we were in that tomb, and I've taken quite a serious injury, so I'm quite wary right now. I'm not sure what's going on, and and my eyes are taking a while to adjust to this bright light in the desert. So yeah, that's me. That's where I'm at.
All right. So you guys also see that there's the doctor here, Dr. Morgan Estiboul. She is wearing glasses. She has her auburn hair kind of like wildly whipped around her head, loosely tied back into a ponytail. She's laying on the ground moaning. She seems to be groping at her leg, which very obviously looks broken in the sense that it's twisted backwards and looks just mangled. You don't see a ton of blood. You just see that it looks misshapen and broken. And then she's clutching a large hourglass, which seems to be basically like obsidian and black in construction with this white glass. And then there seems to be the sand, this like brown desert looking sand on the inside. And you all notice that all the sand is basically kept at one end. Even though it's kind of tilted upward, the sand is not flowing to the bottom half. And then you see this dude over here. His name is Oka. He's dressed very much like a guide and an explorer. And he is basically standing up, brushing himself off. And then he kind of runs over to the doctor. He's like, "Dr. Estiboul." And he like leans down and he's like, "Her leg is broken. Somebody must help her." And now it's an open game. Let us proceed with the adventure.
Reese would head over to help with the leg as well, assess what's happening. Yeah.
Roll a medicine check.
Yep.
Vizara would call across.
Hey.
Would call across. Are you experienced in this? Is this something you can do?
Oka would look over and say, "I have no experience with her broken limbs. Do you? Who are you even? Were you here? Did you bring us here?"
I was not speaking to you, Ishtik.
Fine, be rude. And then he would like turn back to the doctor.
I have some experience, but I'd appreciate the help. It doesn't look too urgent, but we should get this fixed. Do you have any healing magic?
I can help, yes.
I got a 20.
Oh,
sorry.
If I walk over there, do I need to defend myself?
And they'll speak up at this point, kind of point a scimitar out at her and say, "Well, that depends. Were you here? Did you bring us here?"
No, I was brought here as well. I have no idea what this is.
And who are you?
That is of little consequence right this second. Your friend needs help and I can help. Would you like me to, or would you like me to start stabbing?
No, the help is appreciated if you're here to help.
And yeah, I will walk over and lay on hands on the doctor.
Okay. How many points are you going to give with the lay on hands?
I'm going to do one just to heal the broken leg.
All right.
So that is 5 HP.
So you send. Now, is there a particular deity that you are channeling for this?
There is. Hang on just a second. Apologies. I apologize. I don't have it pulled up right this second, so we will skip that for right this second.
Oh, that's fine. Well, when you heal, you realize that, like, you see the leg kind of move back into place, and you kind of hear the sounds of like tendons snapping back into place, and this and that. However, roll a medicine check real quick, and then Craig, what was your medicine check?
23.
A 23. Okay. You certainly realize her leg was just, obliterated, broken. Literally, like, you saw her get hit with that weapon that thing had in the tomb, Well, no, you didn't see it happen. You saw it after. But you think, oh, yeah, she got hit with that hammer or whatever it was he was carrying, and it just obliterated her leg. But what was your medicine check?
16.
You realize that your lay on hands has healed a lot of like the tissue damage, but the bone is still broken. And it would take a more powerful healing spell to heal that. But you've done all you can, and now she just still has a broken leg, and there's really not much else to be done about it.
Scraw, I did the best I could, but it is not perfect.
She's gonna look up at you. She's gonna say, it feels a lot better. Who are you?
For now, a friend, and that's all that matters.
She's gonna kind of look up at you, and she's gonna say, thank you. The pain has subsided greatly. And then she kind of looks down at the hourglass that she's holding, as if she doesn't really realize, until now she didn't even realize she had it.
Vizara would very quickly jump back across where she was before and go back to like a defensive, wary stance and watch everyone.
Okay. Now at this point, all of you are realizing that with the hot wind blowing through, you're all starting to get relatively thirsty. It's very hot and dry here.
Do any of you have water? It is quite dry out here.
I've got as much water as you need. But if you have a cup, I'll fill you up.
Vizara would just nod and walk over to you and hold out a small tin cup.
Oh,
Cool.
okay.
Yes, I've got a decanter of endless water.
You are saved from the dying of thirst, it would seem, as long as Rice is on the scene.
Campaign solved. Yay.
So let me make sure I say the right word. Okay, yeah, stream. If I say stream, it produces a small amount. Otherwise, it'll make 30 gallons and shoot you across the room. So, and yeah, so I can fill up anyone's flask or anything if they need it.
While everyone's doing that, I'm going to look down at that glyph on the sand before it gets too faded and just really look at the details and everything and see if it resembles anything that we saw in the tomb or anything that I've or
Roll
even anything that I've seen in other.
Roll an investigation check.
Okay.
Very quickly, it is deteriorating because the wind is blowing the sand away.
6.
So
Can I? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, could I just use my cantrip to make a few small mounds of earth on the wind side to try and keep it there a little bit longer?
Yeah. In fact, would you like to translate that into a help action for Endel?
Sure. Yep.
All right. Endel, you get a help action. So roll again. Try to get a higher roll. You need a higher roll, i.e., you need about 12 or more.
That's a little bit. It's only a 10.
You know what? Oka
Dice are cold
sees you examining it, and he's gonna come up to you and touch your shoulder, and he's gonna say, "My friend, see what you can learn about this." And he's gonna give you guidance. You get to add 1d4 to your result.
Okay, total for 12.
Oh, okay.
We got there.
So right before the wind kind of like blows a lot of the hieroglyph away, you do make out. So it's like a geometric symbol, and at first you're like, "What is going on?" You're like, it's a geometric symbol. Yeah, okay. But then you see something kind of represented in the center of the symbol, and you're like, "What is this? What is this depiction?" And it almost the you rolling a 12 left you with the impression, there's a depiction of some kind of like symbol of a flame in the middle of this. There's some kind of there's a flame symbol in the middle, like a very simple flame symbol, like maybe depicting fire or inner fire or flame or something like that. But that's really all you get from it before it starts to just blow away. The wind is really wild here. It starts to just blow the sand in all directions, despite Craig's efforts to preserve it. Rise's efforts, I should say.
Seems
Oka is going to say, Endel, what did you discover? Have you discovered a way to take us back to where we were?
nothing about a way back. It seems to have depicted some sort of flame symbol, perhaps a flame magic or a fire within this sort of pattern. I'm not very studied in the arcane myself, but some sort of focus circle around this flame glyph.
Oka's going to stand up. Now, you guys recognize him as like a tall, dark-skinned man. He's wearing a turban, desert clothing. Looks like he's ready for an expedition. He's going to say, is there any among you who understands the arcane and can get us home based on this information? We must get home. Quickly. I do not know where we were sent, but this is not good.
Bizarro,
Yeah.
I can take a look.
Yes, please. I do not know who you are, but if you can get us home, I will call you friend.
So is that an Arcana check?
Yeah, it would be an Arcana check.
14.
14. So you're kind of looking at it and you see the, and you recognize, so the magic that brought you here, you were taken up and seemingly dropped through some kind of portal. And it kind of reminded you, would you say that, so I have two questions to ask you about your character real quick. Would you say that Vizara has ever teleported before?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think Vizara has ever plane shifted before?
Definitely. So I'll get the Yankee start on the astral plane. So
Okay. Now here's a very, very, very maybe random question. Has Vizara ever time traveled before?
not that she's aware of.
Okay. Vizara would probably equate this experience most closely with plane shifting. Vizara would recognize these glyphs as probably the remnants of some kind of strange plane shifting magic.
Okay. So yeah, she would turn to us and she would say, "Tch, it would seem that we are on a new plane of existence."
But can you take us home? We must get back to Greyhawk. We should not be here.
Regrettably, I do not have that power.
What? He's gonna turn to Rise, actually. Oka is. He's gonna say, Rise, you are a magic user. Certainly you can take us back to Greyhawk. This is not where we should be.
I have no idea where we are, and just you need to give me a minute. I'm gonna stumble to the side and sit down, and start drawing in the sand. I need to sort myself out because I've still got a big necrotic wound across my chest that hasn't been addressed. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna wave you off and kind of lurch away from the group as though, like, you know how if someone's gonna throw up, they can kind of leave and it's very clear it's nothing to do with you. Yeah, I'm going to sit down and sort myself out.
Would Rise's injuries be obvious?
Yeah, there was some kind of axe or sword, I think, from those skeletons. So it would be quite and it did like, half of my health damage, a bit more. So it'd be pretty visible, I imagine.
Okay. So yeah, Vizara is going to walk up and do not be alarmed as she lays a hand on you and gives you 5 points of HP.
Boss. Oh, thank you. I've completely out of my depth here. Thanks for helping me get back on my feet. Yeah, and I'll
Thank you for the
stay
water.
sitting on that rock.
You guys see Oka trying to help the professor up, and she kind of sits up and she kind of looks around, and she's still holding onto this hourglass, and she hasn't said much, but she's going to say, Oka, thank you. And then she's going to kind of whisper to him, and all of you would pretty much hear him. If you have a passive perception of, does anyone here have a passive perception of 10 or greater? Is that
I do.
with that? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would hear her say, don't be too hard on them. I don't think it's their fault. I think it was the prophet who sent us here.
Prophet?
You,
What's prophet?
Professor, what are you whispering about?
She's going to say, look. She's going to say, we were investigating a ruin. Please hold while I bring up my notes real quick. Hold on a second. She would say, we were investigating a ruin, the forgotten prophecy of Vekar Zorka and the prophet king Ankaret, the jackal of the Forsaken Sands. And she says, we entered the temple, and listen, I don't know how to explain this, but there was some kind of time stasis. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the prophet was still alive. He was mid spell or some kind of rite was going on, and we interrupted it, and he's crushed my leg with a hammer, and then the rest of them came in, and this hourglass, she kind of holds it up. I believe this is the sands of time. This is the prophesied hourglass of Vekar Zorka. But now I don't know where we are. This is the sand glass, I think. But where did we go? Where did he send us? Perhaps back in time? Perhaps to another world? Perhaps we're in a prison world, locked away. I do not know. All I know is that we must find some bearing for how to identify where we've come.
Yeah, Endo would already be trying to find like a tall rock or something to get on top of and try to look around and gain.
The tallest rock you see is right here, and it's about 10 foot tall.
All right, I'm gonna head over there.
Okay.
Climb up. And I just want to look basically in every direction, see if I see anything that looks like a settlement or even our camp or anything looking similar to the tomb. Try to see just anything that looks like not desert.
Roll me a perception check.
Natural 20 for a total of 21.
A nat 20.
Yeah.
So when you look to the north, you see some specks. Now, okay, first of all, I should say this. When you look around you, you see nothing but sand. I mean, just dunes and sand. And I mean, the whole horizon. The whole horizon is just sand.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look north, actually, I shouldn't even say north because your character wouldn't necessarily have a directional sense at this point, probably because the sun is directly overhead. But when you look, let's just say in this direction,
Okay.
you see some specks that are kind of moving on the very vast horizon. I mean, you think to yourself, maybe, miles away, maybe 10 miles, maybe 8 miles. There seems to be a line of specks moving that seem to indicate some kind of like something moving across the sand. And that's the only thing you see other than sand in all directions.
Does it look so you said movement? So
Yeah.
do I think there's some sort of creatures out there?
No, it actually kind of looks like a group of maybe a caravan or a group of people. It looks like a line of people moving. To you, it looks like a caravan, actually.
Sure. Okay. I will look back at the group and say, well, that way I see movement on the horizon, possibly a trade caravan or a group of nomads. That way we are not alone. Other than that, it's sand for miles and miles.
I've still got my my familiar that I've got for an hour. I think I've still got some time left on that.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna send my feathered friend up, and I'm mainly gonna be looking because I normally live in a desert, just to see whether it's similar to where we went in. Just trying to figure out if we're like in the same desert but like a different time or whatever, or if it's completely foreign to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you have a telepathic connection to your animal?
Yes.
Okay. Very
Within
good.
some kind of range. I would say.
Are you going to send it like up in the air, like straight up to look around?
Yeah, kind of circling around the size of the rock formation we're in.
Gotcha. How high are you going to let it go?
Let me just check that range on it. Sick. Where's it gone? Here we go. Oh no, I'll figure that later. I would. What's an owl? So it's not really its environment. Probably about 100 foot.
100 feet? Okay. So the owl goes flying up into the air. You all see the owl leave Rise's arm and go flying up into the air. Now, Rise, roll me a quick perception check with advantage as the owl looks around. You get a telepathic insight into its surroundings.
That in perception. That's 14.
14? Okay. So you actually see a little bit more now, way off in the distance, way off in this direction. I mean, way in the distance. You see what seem to be mountains, sandy, jagged red mountains. And then you see sand in this direction, just to no end. But then in this direction, you see a great looming, like a dark looming on the horizon. It might mean a larger mountain range, kind of in this direction. But it's impossible to make it out because of the haze from here. Exactly what you're looking at.
Okay. And does it look like the same desert that I'm used to, or is it?
No, this is certainly not from the place you were. You guys were in the desert of the Bright Desert. And when you look around here, you very quickly realize we are not in the Bright Desert anymore. This geography doesn't fit. The distances don't match up. You would have seen mountains much closer than this anywhere in the Bright Desert.
Cool.
Especially from the place you were, mining in, where you discovered that tomb. So no, this does not fit. You think to yourself, you're in a different location.
And just while I was doing that, what's the sun like at the moment? Is it really smashing us? Is it like
Yes, it's directly
Yeah.
overhead and it is just bearing down with just,
yeah?
I mean, hot heat, which is that's not so different than what you were used to, but there's something about it that is different. You think to yourself, we were out in the sun digging for days and days and days to uncover the entrance to the tomb. You were at Vekar Zorka and you were digging and digging, but the sun here feels different. In a way, it's beating down on you with a slightly different kind of heat, almost like it's not quite as intense. It just doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up.
Cool. I'm gonna find some shade and sit down.
The only shade would be under those rocks, kind of like up here.
Mhm.
That'd be the only play.
Cool. I'll go sit under there for now.
All right.
So Anafi will walk up to the professor and introduce himself. Hi, I'm Anafi Digglewiggle. I've been sent here by the cataloguing division at Greyhawk Library.
You were sent here?
Well, I was sent to the site that we were supposed to be at, the archaeology site. Where's that? I can't see that from here.
Oh, I'm afraid we're not there. They didn't happen to tell you where this place was, did they? Did they send you here
No.
directly?
No, I was supposed. I got in the teleport circle that was supposed to drop me at the archaeology site.
I'm afraid we're not at the archaeology site, but thank you so much for your willingness to help. I'm afraid she's going to kind of look over at Rise. Rise, do you know where we are? Are we near the dig site?
We're nowhere near anything I've ever seen before, and that's as much as I know. We're a
You
long
kind of see
way
her
from
lower
home.
her head into her hands. And then you see Oka stand up and he's like, "What are you talking about? We must be close to the dig site to some degree. Where are we exactly? Tell me now."
Well, your guess is as good as mine. With that attitude, though, feel free to go have a look yourself.
With that attitude, I'm trying to save us. I don't know where we are.
Vizara
Spinning.
would speak up at this point and be like, "This one is quite aggressive. What is your
Aggressive.
problem, Ishtik?"
What is my problem? My problem is that we are in the middle of nowhere in the desert. He says, "My professor has a broken leg, and everyone here seems to have no answers for me. I'm trying to get us home."
Guess what? We're all in that same position.
"Oh, yeah, well, I don't even know who you are."
It doesn't change the fact we're all in the same position. So calm
Endo?
down.
Endo,
And speak
keep an
to us
eye on this one.
respectfully.
He's going to point right at Vizara. He's like, "Keep an eye on this one. I do not trust that this one is on our side. This could be an agent of whoever it is who sent us here."
Endo would look back down at Oka and say, "That is possible, but we have no evidence either way. I would rather advise that we stick together. And as said, we are all in the same position, and it appears that we would all like to get to the same position. Whether I believe, logically, that makes us aligned, at least for the moment."
Oka's gonna look at Vizara, kind of give like a suspicious look, and then look at Endal and say, "I think you are perhaps too trusting." And he's gonna turn around, go back to the doctor, and try to make her more comfortable.
Vizara would mutter loud enough for everybody to hear, "Cane yank."
Let me roll and see if he. He might. Let me make a roll. I mean, see if he responds to it. All right, here we go. No, he doesn't. You kind of see him like perk up his ear, like he heard it, almost like he's tempted to turn around and say something, but then he doesn't. Everyone picks up on this. They're picking up on the tension. Oka seems to be very stressed out.
Endel, I'm gonna look at Vizara and I'm gonna make a point of looking directly at her, and I'm gonna take my scimitars and sheath them, and kind of like see if her posture changes at all.
Nope, she just stares.
Okay. Well, as I said, there's definitely a caravan in that direction. Don't know if there's anything else that could be helpful. We might try splinting Dr. Estable's leg so we can at least move. Then I look around if there's any kind of vegetation or anything that might be used as some sort of a splint for a leg.
So in this area, you see only very, very small plants. Like there are these little green plants that kind of grow up, but they're like less than a foot tall, and you see nearly nothing in terms of like any kind of vegetation other than that. They're almost like sagebrush. So no, you think to yourself, if you need a splint, you only have the items that were brought here on you.
Okay.
Bring the doctor over to the shade and let's figure out what we're gonna do.
Oh, when Oka hears you say that, he drags her over there, like kind of gently, but oh, Oka, be gentle. I am sorry, my doctor. I told you not to mess with that tomb. It was a cursed place. Like talking to each other. And she's like, Oka, you're too superstitious. I do not believe so, my doctor, but I will see you through this. I swear it. They're just like talking to each other.
Do we know where we're going to? I can help for an hour.
Oka's going to say, I do not believe anybody knows where we are going or where we have come or where we might be in relation to our desired destination.
Well, I can help for now anyway. And he fiddles around in his component pouch, pulls out this little vial of mercury and drops one drop down onto his spell book. And he says, time for you to float. And he casts Tensor's floating disc.
Oh.
So this spell creates a circular horizontal plane of force 3 feet in diameter and 1 inch thick. The float floats 3 feet above the ground in an unoccupied space of your choosing. The disc remains for an hour and can hold up to 500 pounds. And the disc will
so are you
the disc is
summoning it?
immobile.
Are you summoning it like where?
It's a ritual. It's a ritual spell, but I'm using my Order of Scribes feature
Gotcha.
to cast it as an action.
So does it just pop up and it's floating in the air basically in front of you?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So there is now a disc floating in front of Inafi.
Yep. So it will follow me wherever I go.
All right.
Cool. Has anyone? Oh, I mean, I guess I'll just ask the doctor. But does she think that the hourglass is what brought us here? Because I mean, that could be our ticket home.
She's going to kind of look down at the hourglass and she's going to say, I honestly don't know.
Maybe we should
What happened?
pack it away and protect it so it doesn't get broken.
She's going to look a little bit worried when you say that, and she's going to kind of clutch on to the hourglass, and she's going to say, "I think I better hold on to it."
need
You
to
can roll
walk and help walking.
roll
I
an
think-
insight if you want to. You can roll an insight check. You can roll an insight check.
At 19.
You get the sense that she's keeping some kind of a secret from you. There's something she's not saying about the hourglass.
What do you know, Doctor? Tell us.
There's something. This hourglass is a very powerful magic item. It's incredibly powerful.
That's why we should protect it.
I don't know if anyone else should touch it.
Why?
Well, as I'm touching it right now, it is trying to gain access to my mind, and I keep refusing it, but it keeps attempting to do so. And I'm afraid that anyone else who touches it will not have the presence of mind to tell it no, and then I do not know what the effect will be. Keep in mind, this may be the fabled sand glass. And if it is, we have no idea what kind of power it may hold.
I will rip off my cloak and say, we'll wrap it in this first. And then
Oh, roll a persuasion check as you do that.
And you see Anafi gently and raising his hand and
a
asking,
3.
would you like me to identify it to make sure?
Oh, what did you roll, Malik?
3.
Okay, so she's like, no, I don't think so. I'll just keep a hold of it. Now, Anafi, you say you want me to identify it. You should roll a persuasion check real quick.
Ooh, okay, what have I got for that?
I'm going to help with that.
You're going to give a help action?
Yeah.
What are you going to say to her to try to give a help action?
Well, if it's trying to gain access to your mind, maybe at least you should put it down, and we'll see what it is.
Okay. So go ahead and roll it with a help action.
So is that just advantage for me, or?
Yeah, you get advantage. Yeah.
Oh no.
What did you?
I realized
what did
I was facing the wrong way when I was talking as well.
Uh-oh. What did you get?
2 and 3.
Oh, she's gonna say, I don't think that would be a good idea. Let's skip that for now.
I'm gonna climb down off the rock and get a little bit closer and just kind of look at the hourglass, maybe from a little bit of a distance, and not like hover over or anything, but just try to get a look at it. Does it look like a regular hourglass? Are there inscriptions on it, symbols?
So no, as you're looking at it, it does not look like a normal hourglass. In fact, it's shimmering with very powerful magical energy. And as she's holding onto it, you realize she's just holding onto it with her bare hands. There's nothing shielding her from it. Let me send you a. Here, I'm going to put up an image of kind of what it looks like. Give me one moment. It'll just be just a second. I have to sand glass. Allow me to consult my notes real quick. We have to go to props, add. I'm getting better at this. All right. All right, I'm going to put an image of it up on the screen. So it kind of looks like a normal hourglass, but it's a ripple with magical energy. And it's got like this stone, top and bottom, and the pillars seem to be stone. And then it's got the sand inside of it. However, the sand is encapsulated at the top end. It is not filtering through. The sand is not falling through the hourglass, even though it's being held vertically. And you see her hands clutching it with this deathly grip her knuckles are white, clutching at this hourglass. And it's very large. It's not like a little hourglass. It's like big. It's like, imagine the size of a 5-gallon bucket, but that's how big the hourglass is.
Oh, wow.
It's big. But there's nothing stopping the sand from flowing. The sand is just all sitting at the top end. It's just not flowing.
Oh, so the sand isn't moving. Interesting.
No, it is not moving. That's a very noticeable feature right now. Even though she's holding it at a vertical angle, the sand is not moving.
Anafi, after his offer being turned down, pulls out a piece of parchment and snaps his fingers, and one of the quills off his 10-foot pole floats down, and he starts making notes and drawings of this hourglass before it goes out of sight.
Okay, he's gonna start making notes. You should make me a percentiles roll, Anafi.
That's that one. 34.
Okay. You're drawing it, and you're getting a strange vibe from it as you're drawing it, but you can't quite put your finger on what's causing it. Now, at this point, I would like everyone to roll me a percentile. Or, no, I'm sorry, not a percentile. A perception check. Like everybody. However, I will notice that Rise and Malik, I don't think the two of you have talked at all in the past, 5 minutes, which would lead me to believe that you two are mostly sitting silently. I'd like you two to roll with initiative or with advantage. So Malik and Rise roll with advantage, but everyone roll me I'm sorry, man, I keep calling perception percentiles. Perception check.
23 on my perception check.
23. Oh, okay.
24.
Wow. Yep. 13.
Who got a 24?
Malik.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
19 for Anafi.
19. Malik. It'd be Malik. It would be Vizara, and then Anafi would all see this coming. Endel, what was your perception check? A 2. You don't have any. You don't know nothing. Rise, what was your perception check?
13.
Okay, no, you don't see him. But the three of you, Anafi, Malik, and Vizara, you hear something. Kind of down here. You hear what sounds like some stones kind of clattering to the side.
Be careful, Professor. I hear something behind us.
Yes. There is something making noise. I'm not sure what.
You see something kind of coming towards you, but it doesn't seem to be coming towards you purposefully. Let me give me 1 minute and I'll show you a picture of what it looks like.
Can we see it yet?
If you peek over the so those who heard it, could have, if you heard it, did you mention it to the people who didn't hear it? And if so,
Yes.
or if not even, did anyone go kind of peek up the ridge to see if they saw it? Like what it was making the noise.
Yeah, but Zara definitely would have moved towards the sound.
Okay, very good. Let me grab the image real quick and I'll show you what you see coming. Seems to be something headed your direction.
Yeah, don't bring Luna back in.
No Luna.
I'll circle my owl over that way.
Oh, okay. Your owl definitely sees this.
It's still 100 foot up.
You see something that looks like this. Whoop. Now, this is just an image. Looks like some kind of a snake person with a spear and a long snake tail slithering through the sands. And it doesn't seem to be looking at you. It doesn't even seem to be aware that you're there. It's just slithering along. But here it is, and it's just slithering your way.
Ooh, I can't hear anything.
Oh, can you hear me now? Hello?
Ooh, there we go.
Okay. Now, would anyone like to do anything? You kind of hear it just slithering your direction. It's just moving through the sand, just kind of like moving along.
Yeah, Bizarro would
I
stare
believe
at
there's
it for a
something
second.
coming.
Enough,
Sorry,
he
Dave.
stopped his drawing.
Now, at this point, everyone should tell me exactly what they're doing, because within one more turn, this creature will be within a point where it can see into the crater where you guys are. And so let's go by turn order. Let's just go quick from top to bottom. Let's go Endel first. Endel, what are you doing as this is happening?
I'm gonna reach for a couple of daggers and
Okay.
just have them ready, spinning, ready to throw if necessary.
Are you just gonna be there where you are, just like standing in the crater?
I'm gonna let's see this, and I will let's see. I'll spread out this way a little bit.
Okay. Now, are you trying to make that quiet, or are you not caring about quiet?
I'm not looking to make a lot of noise, but I'm not looking to necessarily be stealthy either.
Roll a stealth check.
Dirty 20.
Oh, yeah, you just move over there. I mean, moving very quietly. All right, very good. And you've got a couple daggers ready, basically.
Yep.
All right, and Nafi, what are you doing when you hear this report?
Enough, you'll just try and move a little bit out of direct line. So you'll just sort of about there. That's
Okay.
about it. He'll have one hand raised to his hood,
Okay.
and yeah,
All right, very good. Let's go next to Vizara. Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I would
Vizara.
have been walking across the little chasm here towards the sound when we heard it, and then when I saw it, I would have stopped and looked back at the group and been like, "Are y'all seeing this too?"
Are you going to say this quietly, or are you saying it out loud?
Quietly.
Roll a stealth check real quick.
I'm not seeing it, but I can definitely hear something coming towards us.
Oh wow, 21 on self check.
Okay, so you say it very quietly, and it doesn't seem to provoke any kind of response. Is that where you're going to keep your character right there in the middle?
Yes.
All right. Malik, it is your turn. What is your character going to do when you hear that there's a creature approaching?
I'm gonna go up here and kind of hide behind the tip of this. for now.
Roll a stealth check.
All right. 23.
Oh, so you're hidden. Very good. Okay. Okay. You go very quietly. Well, this is a quiet bunch, actually. All right. Are you going to ready anything or equip anything?
I do knock my arrow to the bow and have it ready just in case.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Rise, how about your character?
I'm going to stay sitting where I was. But as Andor was, readying his, because he was standing next to me, I was going to hand him the dagger from last session that I collected from that pit trap. Pull that off my belt and hand it back to him. And I'm just going to sit and have a drink of water.
So basically staying where you are, not trying to hide or anything like that.
No, because in my mind, it's just another person in the desert. We don't know if it's an enemy yet. So if if we're waiting to ambush it, it's not likely to look that friendly.
Oka kind of pulls the professor back deeper into the rocks and then stands in front of her and gets out his walking stick, basically. And then you guys hear kind of a noise. And you hear what sounds like a humming sound. It's like, I have to reload my thing real quick. My Albert Rodeo's glitching just a little bit. Please hold while I reload. Uh-oh. Refresh page. All right. As you guys are there, you hear this like humming sound. You hear these rocks kind of crumbling, and then you see a figure kind of crest over the top. And you see a figure, like you see that figure that I showed you before. And let me just show you one more time. It looks kind of like this. Kind of like a snake person with a spear and a long tail, and they're slithering along. And this person suddenly stops and looks down at Visara. And then it looks very curiously at you. And it just freezes for a moment. And then it would say, "Who are you here in the middle of the desert?" And then it seems very curious and it kind of climbs down into the crater.
I am Visar. Are you friend or foe?
I guess that depends on what you're doing here. What exactly are you doing here?
Visara raises her glaive over the top of her shield and points it at him like, "We are not playing games. Are you friendly or not?"
It starts to kind of... You see its long tail, which kind of drags behind it. You see little flames poof up from the end of it. Everyone who sees this, roll a nature check or a history check, whichever's better for you.
12.
12? Okay.
I got a 12 also.
Okay.
I'm gonna
12?
call out. I'm gonna call out and just be like,
19.
We're
19.
Same.
we're
Oh,
just
20,
trying.
sorry.
Sorry.
Did anyone? So it would require a 14 to identify this thing. So Inafi gets it. Does anyone else identify?
I got a
it without-
16.
a 16. The two of you realize this is a salamander.
I would call out to it. We're just trying to get back home.
Home. Curious. And then it kind of slithers right up to you, Visara, and says, "And where exactly is home to you? This is very curious to me. I smell the scent of fresh blood as somebody is injured."
Visara would step back away from the snake. She, glaive still over the top of the shield. Home is the astral plane.
Interesting. I am not as familiar with the astral plane. My people come from the elemental plane of fire, actually. However, I was born here in the desert. And I'm wondering, why are you strange-looking folk in the middle of the desert here?
Never mind that Ishtik. Where is here?
Are you asking me where you are? That's a very curious thing. Shouldn't I be asking you? But no matter. You're in Sahuret, the sovereign. It seems to look at you gleefully. And then you see its nostrils flaring as if it's smelling. And then it kind of walks over here and starts smelling Oka. Such a good scent. Scent of ripe prey in the desert is what it smells like to me. Or maybe predators. Are you bandits?
We're not here to take anything. But if you find us prey, maybe you'll smell more injuries soon.
This one has spirit.
Climbing
Like-
up on that rock.
Like, it goes right up to the rock and looks up at you. It's like, you have some cojones on you. Talking to me that way when I'm the one who discovered you in the desert, hiding just a fathom away from my caravan. I think you mean ill will, or am I mistaken?
Reese is going to offer the salamander some water. You sound parched, my friend. Do you need something to drink?
Oh, it's going to kind of slither over to you and open its mouth. You see its fangs kind of like, when it opens its mouth, it's going to say, I would take a smidgen of water. Are you
so I've
going to
just-
are you going to give it some?
Yeah, I've just been drinking from my cup, so I'm gonna just hand them
okay.
my cup.
It drinks the water and then it's like, thank you. That's very rejuvenating. It's quite hot in the desert, as you probably well know. But I'm so curious as to why you are here and why you are maintaining such a close proximity to my caravan while maintaining such a far proximity from anything approximating civilization. This is very bizarre to me. It strikes me as suspicious.
Well, we're lost, to be honest.
Did you just wander into the desert to get lost? Who walks into the desert like this? You know that this is the Sahuret Desert, yes? This is not a place where you just walk and then hope to find your way out again.
And we are not a group you walk into and disrespect and hope to just walk away from.
Oh, it kind of walks up to you, slithers up. It's like, this one takes ill at my remarks. Very fascinating. It seems to indicate ill intent, if I do say so myself. Perhaps you're up to no good out here. There is no good to be found out here, after all. It kind of takes a step back, holds its trident spear type thing, and then it's like, I am suspicious of you. I'm suspicious of. It kind of points at your character, Avery, in particular.
We have been nothing but kind to you thus far, and yet you throw insults.
I see. So here's the question. What do I do? Do I just leave you where you are and report your position? Do you ask me for something? Or do we just part ways and we forget that I even ran into you during my scouting endeavor?
If you want to leave, I will not stop you.
It's going to say, what about your woman with the broken leg over there? She does not seem so well off. You just plan to feed her to the buzzards? The buzzards here are very large. I'm sure they would swallow her whole once they get a swift whiff of her failing flesh.
You mention a caravan. What is your purpose?
Well, my purpose is forward scouts. I look out for scoundrels like you, lying in wait for our goods to pass through the desert. That's what I do. And now that I've found you, well, I guess your little plot has been foiled. If robbing the caravan was your goal, anyway. But the caravan itself is just a caravan. It travels through the desert. We carry goods from place to place. But I'm suspicious, and I'm wondering why you're just sitting here in this strange crater watching us. This makes me think that you have not the best intentions for my comrades. The ones carrying the goods. The ones who carry the economics of this place on their backs. It kind of slithers around. I don't like bandits. It's very dishonorable. It's not an honest way to make a living, if you ask me.
Whew. Can I look around and see if everyone's standing like aggressively, or what? See what everyone else is kind of how they're responding.
Yeah, everyone should describe to Rise kind of what you look like. As far as like Rise, it looks like you're looking like to kind of take the temperature of the rest of the group. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
All right.
Because my intention is to be friendly and just get him on, because it feels unrelated to our problem. But if everyone else is standing with weapons drawn, then trying to take the temperature.
Endel is kind of standing with one dagger kind of held behind his left leg, and another one held kind of behind his back. I'm not really like showing them per se, but I'm definitely ready to react.
Nafki is
go ahead.
is pulling out his coin pouch, and he's weighing it up and looking at the size of the group and playing with his fingers on one hand, trying to work out whether he's got enough gold for everyone in the group to buy passage on a caravan.
Vizara is in like full like shield wall stance, staring at this salamander.
Now, how about Malik? Well, Malik might not even be seen. Malik was hidden very, very well.
Malik's staying hidden. He's not.
You can look around. You don't see Malik anywhere. He seems to have vanished from the scene. Anyway.
Okay. Then I'll walk up to the salamander. With like nothing in my hands. And I'm going to ask whether they would be willing to take some passages on their caravan. That we don't really know what we're doing. We're not any threat to them.
It kind of slithers up to you and like kind of comes up looking you eye to eye, and it says, "This is very interesting. Strangers in the desert do not know what's going on. Ask me for passage. All right, I guess it would be worth it. I smell some coin. Perhaps for the right price, I would vouch for you. Since you haven't attacked me yet, and it's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 to 1 at least. Not counting the one with the broken leg. This is to count for some kind of honor. I guess I could vouch for you. How much would you be willing to pay me to vouch for you to buy passage with the caravan that you see in the distance that you've been watching so suspiciously?
I think 6. 6 gold is a fair amount.
6? It's going to kind of slither over. Very well. I accept. It's going to hold out its hand. All right. Are you going to give it 6 gold pieces?
And he'll start counting out the 6 pieces, and he'll say, and this is for a direct introduction into the caravan so we can negotiate with the caravan for passage. Is that correct?
Yes. Agreed.
And nothing else. You're not going to do anything else.
No, I will not do anything else. I will not attack you. I will not call you bandits. I will introduce you to the leader of the caravan.
Excellent. And he drops all 6 coins straight down.
All right. So the salamander picks them up, counts them out.
Oh, no, into his hand.
Oh,
Drops
okay,
it
okay.
into his hand.
He slides them into his little belt pouch, and then he pats his belt pouch kind of greedily, and then he has a smug look on his face, and he's like, very well. Well, in that case, I'm going to head back. Feel free to follow me or find your own way. I don't really care. And then it starts
Just before you leave, could you please sign this receipt for me? I need to claim all my expenses back from the library.
Can I sign what? It looks very confused.
Just put your mark here, please.
Are you offering it a writing utensil?
Oh, the quill is there floating
Oh,
in air.
okay. Roll a persuasion check real quick. It's for a moment. It's like, can I do what? And then it looks at the quill and it looks at the paper. But let's see what your persuasion check says.
What is my persuasion? 2. So +2 on this. So 18.
How much is it?
18.
Oh, it's gonna say, well, I guess it like takes the quill and just kind of gives you its signature.
Hey, thank you. Pleasure doing business.
How strange. And then it just starts to slither away across the desert toward the moving blur that you identified as a caravan earlier.
I would like to make an insight check to see if I think that the snake is telling the truth about keeping his word.
Yeah, go for it. Make an insight check.
Oof, nope, 6.
Seems to you everything is legit. Nothing could go wrong. No problem as far as you can tell.
How does the professor, the doctor, look like they're responding? Because
So that's actually very interesting. The doctor's eyes are closed, and she's holding on to the hourglass, and you haven't heard her make a peep the whole time.
because I think as far as I'm concerned, I've been taking the doctor's leave for where we should go and what we should do, but now no one really knows what we're doing. So I think could I rouse her? Is she
Yeah, what would you like to do to try to rouse her?
I'll walk up to the disc and see if I can shake the disc a little bit.
So when you shake it, she kind of opens her eyes, and she almost looks like she was almost asleep. And she looks at you, and she's like, "Oh, have we arrived yet? Have we gotten somewhere? What's going on? I'm sorry, I think I fell asleep."
Well, Anafi has just procured us passage with a caravan, but we have no idea what we're meant to be doing. What do you think?
You notice that her fingers are gripping the hourglass just like knuckle white, like she's just holding on to it for dear life and holding it in her arms. And she would say, "Oh, that sounds fine. That sounds fine." And then she like closes her eyes and kind of starts to drift back to sleep again, which seems very unlike her. You've known her for a while now, and she's not one to like go to sleep randomly. I mean, she's usually awake at all hours of the night, poring over books and this and that.
Does Oka seem concerned?
When you look at him, he's looking at her, and he's just kind of sitting down by her, and he does look concerned, actually. But he's not saying anything. He's just like watching her very closely.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna walk off and quietly ask Anafi what he knows about this hourglass, because it doesn't look good.
Yeah, that's a good question. What do I know about it?
So you know that she was on the lookout for something called the sand glass. That's what this whole expedition was about.
Yeah.
And you know that the sand glass, according to legends, according to rumor, was supposedly some kind of magical artifact that would allow someone to possibly see through the veil of basically different planes, different realms, possibly, according to some legends, if you believe the more fanciful tales, to peer through even the fabric of time, to look into different times and places and different timelines. The hourglass was supposedly created to be an ultimate divination device. But when you start to pour the sands through, the danger was it would siphon your life force to give you the power to look through the veil. And so it was quite a dangerous artifact. That's what Inafi would know. That's the basics. That's like the basic lore of the sand glass.
So this thing could be draining her life right now.
Well, so that is a possibility. However, you do notice that there is no sand falling through the hourglass right now. And that is a very obviously strange fact, because she's holding it in such a way the sand would vertically fall through it, but it's just not falling through, which would indicate that it's not. So there's an argument, like Rise would have a choice to make, basically, like, does that mean it's not in use right now? So that's like a question Rise could rise with himself, but that's kind of, it's an unknown, but that's just something you notice about it very obviously.
Okay. Well, I think what I would do would be to heal the doctor's leg more, to rule out that it's the broken leg that's making her drowsy, because so that would seem logical to me.
One thing you would realize is that the paladin laid on hands earlier, and your character has a pretty good medical opinion. You would, just from what you observed, that she's probably been healed magically with like basically like cure wounds type spells as much as possible, but the broken leg would require something a bit more powerful. So what I'm saying is she might be healed as much as she can until something is done to heal the actual broken bone.
Okay.
Which I'll just say in my world states, usually a broken bone is a little different than healing like a cut or a flesh wound. Like cure wounds would heal everything around it, but the bone itself would need to heal, or more powerful healing spells may help, like maybe a restoration, something like that.
Okay. All right. Well, the clock is ticking with the salamander following him, right? So
Yeah, well, he's just wandering off. He's just like leaving, but it's pretty easy to see where he's going. There's really nothing but deserts, open
Yeah.
deserts.
Well, I'll just ask the group then. Yeah, but should we get moving and get on this caravan?
Yeah. When he mentioned the name of the desert, or what I assumed was the name of the desert, Sahurat.
Sahuret.
Yeah, Sahuret the Sovereign, he said.
Yes.
Did that ring any bells for me?
No, Endel's never heard of that in his life, which is really strange because Endel has heard of every desert in the world.
Yeah.
So no,
He's
that's
a-
very strange.
He's a history teacher, so this is
Yeah.
weird that yeah, when he mentioned that. So I'll actually kind of just to the group before we follow, kind of mention, have any of you heard of this place that he mentioned, this Sahuret, the Sovereign? I don't think we're anywhere near home.
No, never even heard the word.
Well, we should follow, but we should try to figure this thing out.
GM, what check would you like us to make to see if we know anything about the Sovereign, or is there even a chance that we would?
So there's almost zero chance. You could roll a history check, and only on a nat 20 might you possibly conceivably have heard of this in any way, shape, or form. But
Nope, that's a 9.
yeah,
Oh, yep.
did you get a nat 20?
Yeah, I rolled a nat 20.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well,
So that'd be 25. Yeah.
I
did anyone else roll in that 20?
No.
Okay.
9.
So Rise, here's what you okay, now here's the thing. What experience would Rise have had in the recent 5 years with transplanar or multi-dimensional phenomenon?
Well, most of the last 5 years, I was exploring different ruins around the Bright Desert, and mainly looking at artifacts and carvings and things like that.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, I don't know what minimal information I might have found out through that, but
So ruins, carvings, basically historic sites, that kind of thing. So Rise, here's what you would know, and it's just astronomically impossible that you would have heard about this, but you rolled a nat 20 on the check, so you just happened to have come across it. There was at one point when you discovered a small ruin that seemed insignificant to you at the time, but there was a parchment there, and the parchment contained reference to, I passed through a great blackness and a great splattering of colored light, and I fell for great eons, and I arrived at a certain place called the Sahuret. This was a foreign place, a place forgotten by time, and only through. And then, please hold while I consult my notes real quick. I gotta consult my notes real quick. Only through the power of Ra-Aman was I able to find my way home. And even then, only by the passage of a great ship that sailed on a river not made with water. Now, with that being said, when you read that, it sounded kind of like a poem, right? Like a song or a thing. But this word, Sahuret, it's the same word. So what do you make of that?
I think I would relay that I'd read a poem about an ancient desert with that name. But from what you've said, yeah, it sounds like I wouldn't really have taken too much notice of the parchment. But yeah, I could say that I heard that someone traveled to an ancient desert with that name.
Ooh. Would, with that new information, being Anafi has the Sage background researcher,
Yes.
would he have?
So that's a very good question. Would he have heard anything about this?
Yeah.
Okay, roll me for Anafi a quick. So since he has a Sage background, roll me a quick history check with advantage to see if this triggers anything for Anafi from his studies, because it is possible that Anafi has read something adjacent to this in his Sage background.
Endel also has Sage background.
Oh, you should also do the same thing. You should roll me a history check with advantage.
Ooh.
So the best was a 17.
So this ship that does not sail on the water, Anafi has read tales of people who died, and they claimed to have been picked up in the great beyond, the void, by a ship that sails amongst the stars, and then given a choice to return. This is not an uncommon near-death experience tale.
Mm.
Got
What
a
did-
21.
21. So, Endel, what you hear is very similar to what Anafi has described. However, I would ask you one further question, because you rolled a few points higher. You rolled above a 20. Would Endel have had, in the past 5 years, any experience in investigating near-death experiences?
Near death experiences, probably not. He's
What's the closest you might have come to it?
well, he does do a lot of research. He likes to delve into ruins and such. So if any of those had been very dangerous, he probably would have had that moment of like, oh wow, we could have all just died. He's probably seen injuries and been in a few scraps here and there where he's seen people severely injured. And
Would he have been around people who were injured, who seemed to be basically dead, but then were brought back and miraculously saved?
yeah, I would think so at some point.
So there was one point, we're going to say in Endel's past, in his, and this is kind of related to his studies as a sage, but there was one point where a friend of his came to such a fate and then was miraculously brought back. And this person said, I felt the swaying of a ship, but when I looked about, all I saw were stars and the smell of freshly baked cookies. But when you hear that swaying of a ship and you see only stars, that seems to mirror what Rise kind of told you. And that seems to mirror what Anafi kind of mentioned. There's a common theme here of, there was Sahuret was read about in a poem found by Rise on a dig, but it referenced this reoccurring phenomenon of people dying and then or almost dying, and then describing this experience like being on this ship that's not on the water, and they see the heavens, the stars above them. And you have personally witnessed someone have this near-death experience phenomenon. So that's what it rings to you.
Okay.
Now, there was someone who said someone needs to take a quick little break. Let's take a quick little, just a 3-minute I'm going to take a quick little 3-minute break here, and then we're going to jump back into it. everyone feel free to go get a drink refill or whatever you need. I'll be back in about 3 minutes. All right, I am back. None of the other players are back quite yet. This has been a session very deep in lore. Game off. Hey, Regina. Endel is returned.
Yeah, I'm here. I am here.
Coming.
Inafi is back. All right. All right, so you all just did some lore finding. You all just learned some things. I'm not sure if Rise is back. Rise actually might not be quite back yet. But what would you like to be your next step?
We need to figure out how to get Dr. Estebel moving.
Oh, she's on the disc.
She is
follows
on.
me.
She's on Tensor's floating disc right now.
Yeah.
So it follows me. So wherever Inafi walks, the disc will follow 10 feet behind.
So yeah, Vizara would have started moving off towards the salamander, looking back over her shoulder, like expectedly for the rest of the group.
Okay. So you guys see Vizara already headed after the salamander.
I'm going to sit down in the middle of the circle and look through my owl's eyes.
Okay.
And I've got a cartographer's kit. So I was just gonna sketch a layout of the rocks, or just a rough map. And then as I finish that and follow, I'm gonna try and just use my mold earth to kind of try and dig some kind of hole in the ground that might last longer than the dunes, like in a asterisk kind of shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mean like as a landmark kind of thing?
Yeah. Just because
So now,
I have a feeling we might need to come back here.
got you. Okay. So when you create a map, now I don't have a map readily available, but I can actually make one for you before next session. But what it would be is basically desert to the east and west. And when I say east and west, I just mean north, as in if north was up on the map we're looking at right now. But desert east and west, smallish mountains far to the north, larger mountains far to the south. And that's basically all you can detect.
Yep.
And when I
I
say
would
large
be-
mountains
oh.
to the south, I mean very large. Like you're like,
Okay.
oh my God, they're massive. Is at first you're like, wait a minute, that's just the sky. Then you're like, oh my God, no, those are mountains to the south. Massive mountains, like great.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like the Rocky Mountains on steroids, like large, jagged, rocky red mountains, like on the surface of Mars kind of mountains. And then to the north, more normal looking, kind of tallish mountains.
And,
So
and my
these,
map. Oh, yeah. You go.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say my map would just be like from where my owl's looking, just like the rocks and stuff in the kind of immediate area, so that
Gotcha.
if I'm flying over again, I'd be like, oh, there's two weird shaped little outcroppings. It might be there.
Gotcha. So just kind of mapping out the local area to like be able to identify it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. No, for sure. You can totally do that. And you sketch a map of it. No problem. No problem. Your owl's kind of hooting as it flies above the terrain. You don't see any other flying things in the sky at all. Not a single one.
Mm.
So the giant mountains to the south, are they big enough that like a portion of every day we're in the darkness from like the sun being on the other side of the mountains?
That's a good question. Let me double check. So no, they would be too far away for that.
Okay, I was just
So
curious if we were.
technically, the human eye can only see about 4.4 kilometers in the distance. But since this is a magical world and setting, we're assuming you can see farther than that. And you see just the very barest outline of these mountains. They might be 10 miles away. And with that distance away, they're not large enough that at this point they seem to have any impact on the shade cast upon you. That's not. But with that being said, you have not experienced a morning or an evening here. You're only seemingly at midday. So there are some unknowns to that, but that's the closest answer you can ascertain.
So we all packing up and following Vizara?
Yeah.
I believe we should go to the caravan, Luca says. He starts to walk. And then he looks at you, Anafi, and he's like, thank you. Thank you for carrying the doctor.
That's all right.
Mm.
I'm here to help.
He's going to pat you on the shoulder. And he's like, we finally have someone good among us. And he turns and looks directly at, let's see, who does he look at? He looks directly at, actually, Rise. And he's like, at least we have someone who understands the importance of getting back to civilization.
Yeah, we've got plenty of water, but nothing to eat and a lot of sun.
I am glad you have the water. I just wish you had the foresight.
Vizara is going to turn walking backwards still towards the salamander and just call out at him, Istik. Turn around and back.
Keep
Face
your
the
insults
direction
to
you
yourself. Keep your insults to yourself. You do not know who you speak to. That's what he's gonna say. Anyway, so you guys, is there anyone who's not now, Malik? You've been hidden up on that rock forever. Nobody has seen where you've gone. Are you gonna emerge from your hiding to follow them?
I'm gonna bring up the rear, but I'm gonna stay as hidden as possible.
Okay. Are you gonna go ahead and let them get quite a ways away before you come out to maintain the hiding?
Yes.
Okay. Then roll another stealth check, but roll it with advantage because you're going to be staying back purposefully. The rest of you don't even see, like, where's Malik? He doesn't seem to even be here.
21.
You saw him for a second. 21. Okay. If anyone wants to try to spot Malik, they can roll a perception check to try to beat a 21. But as far as you're concerned, Malik isn't even here. You don't even know where he is.
Oh no, I got a nat 1 on my perception.
Yeah, me too.
You accidentally trip. You face plant into a sagebrush. Very bad situation.
He's not
You
here.
don't see Malik. Malik is definitely not in that sagebrush. That's for sure.
Oof.
All right.
Yeah, now
I
one.
just have
So we're gonna-
a mental picture of Malik like scurrying from object to object and like posing in the same outline of the object.
All right. Okay, give me one moment to consult my notes real quick.
While we're doing that initial traveling, Anafi will turn to Endor and say, Professor, good to see you again. You've been out of the library for so long. I haven't seen you for ages.
Yes, we've been traveling here to the dig. Good to see you too. Surprised to see you follow us through whatever sort of portal that was.
Yes, it feels like the normal teleport circle that I was using feels like it got hijacked somehow. Didn't feel quite the same as normal.
Yes, well, it definitely wasn't wasn't normal. At least whatever brought us here wasn't. It certainly was. We were actually in the middle of a battle, and we got pulled this way when Dr. Estibul touched that artifact. I recommend, Master Digglewiggle, that we keep an eye on her. Keep an eye on that
Very
artifact.
well.
If it starts behaving strangely, or she starts behaving strangely, action should be taken. You are much more studied in the arcane than I am, but I will trust you to keep your eyes on that situation.
I will indeed. I can't have.
So, Anafi, did you say you're nowhere near the tomb when you came here?
No, I wasn't. I was in the library, and I went to the teleport circle that was supposed to take us to the dig site. I got in the teleport, and I ended up here. I don't know how it happened.
I wonder what magic linked you to us. I don't know much about teleportation, but that seems very strange.
Well, the other teleport circle was going direct to the dig site, so it would have taken me to the front door of the dig site. So whatever that one is that brought us all here, maybe it was a bigger one, and I arrived just as it went off.
Yeah, I guess you'd be close enough for Zara, but I was ask, were you teleporting as well, Vizara?
Yes, I was in another desert, and then I was here.
I wonder what brought us together.
Now, as you guys continue to journey and you begin to approach a large, so this is assuming you're going to go ahead and travel for it would be about 2 hours of traveling time across just the bleak, barren desert. Would you guys, would you have continued to follow the salamander for this length of time?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you would have arrived at you see this long line of camels, some horses, a few oxen, and there's about 50 people Now they're not on the map right now, but they are stretching kind of beyond, and they've started to circle up for the day. And you see a couple tents being pitched.
Does it seem like there's an established path they're following, or they're just cutting across dunes?
So right at the glance, it looks to you like they're just cutting across dunes. You don't see any established path that you can ascertain, really.
Mm.
But this salamander kind of says, "Follow me," and leads you kind of over in this area right here.
Okay.
So go ahead and move your characters over there if you would be, interested in doing so.
Oh, and I would have been digging pits as we went, just like 10-foot holes. I don't
Digging
think they'd laugh
10?
at them.
10-foot holes.
Yeah, with my excavation cantrip.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say 10
Yeah,
foot holes
yeah.
is a long time to dig.
Yeah.
But okay. So the excavation cantrip. How much does that let you dig at once?
A 5-foot cube.
Oh, okay.
And-
That would be
yeah.
very easy then. Okay. So how often would you have been doing this?
Every like 200 meters, 100 meters, something like that. Yeah.
And is the purpose to like basically keep your place, basically, or like
Yeah.
to? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, like I don't have any, faith it would last more than a day or so, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the sand and whatnot. Okay,
mm,
but no, I get you. Okay, all right. Give me one moment to get this token up here. But the salamander comes up here and it says basically, "Hold on for just a second. I'm gonna fetch the leader of the caravan for you." And then it would disappear into the tent. Now, when you look at these tents, you see basically temporary shelters, erected to, shelter probably the leadership of the caravan. With that being said, you see this caravan. You hear the mews of the goats and the camels, and you see the people traveling. You don't see a whole lot of guards. You see a lot of like older men, women, and children hauling things across the desert. You see camels laden with goods. You see a few dogs kind of like, walking along the way, guarding, kind of like guard dogs. But you don't see a whole lot of like soldier presence or anything like that.
are they all salamanders?
No, you don't see any other salamanders. That salamander that you met is the only one you see.
Okay.
Now, at this point, a figure comes out to meet you. And the salamander's with him. And he comes walking out. Now, here, I can show you a larger picture of him. Give me just a moment. It just takes 1 second. I'm getting a little bit better at this. Hold on. We got to put it in props. We're getting it. All right, here we go. So this guy looks like this. Just gonna put him up on the screen. Has a turban, colorful robes, kind of like a colorful demeanor. He has some jewelry. Looks friendly, a little suspicious. Brown eyes, unassuming, also cunning. Anyway, he approaches you with the salamander, and then he's like, "Greetings. Hello, my name is Astan. This, my friend Quasum here tells me that you were on the desert by yourselves. Tell me, what is your story? Tell me, what is your story?
Who's he addressing?
He seems to be addressing all of you, and his arms are kind of opened wide, and he seems to be giving almost like a presentation to all of you. He's like, my friend Quasum here tells me that he found you on the desert by yourselves. You were not a part of a convoy. You were not a part of any kind of, well, transportation unit. And I'm just here wondering why you were out there all by yourselves. And since you are walking up to me now in a friendly manner, I would assume you're not bandits. I'm hoping you're not bandits. And I'm looking to ascertain who you are and where you come from and what your goals are. And perhaps we can work together or maybe not. But, this is the way. I'm a businessman. And I wish to do good business, but I'm not going to stand for any skullduggery. No skullduggery.
Ian, you said there seems to be mostly traders rather than warriors, right? Like,
yeah, definitely more traders.
Cool.
In fact, you don't even see that many fighting capable males. It's actually mostly women, elderly men and women, children, and then there's some guard dogs, and there's a bunch of camels laden with goods, and you probably see maybe 6 total guards amongst the 50 or so piece caravan.
So I'm going to use my judgment then, because we haven't really talked about it. And I'm going to feel that there's no risk in telling him the truth. Well, we are a team of archaeologists, and we went into an ancient tomb, and we seem to have stepped in the wrong place, and then we turned up here in the middle of this desert. We don't know this desert. We don't know where we are. And your fen closet came across us. So we're just looking to get somewhere so we're not stuck here. We're very lost.
Are you traders?
We are more explorers and exploring ancient ruins.
Do you
But we
have
do
goods?
trade.
Goods to trade. Goods to trade. Are you taking goods from one place to another?
We would be more than happy to show what you have. We're not sure what you would find. of
What
value.
is the nature of your goods? Tell me about that. What do you have?
Well, maybe we should put our heads together and see what we've got. We've got lots of interesting objects. I'm not sure who would be carrying. Inafi might be carrying some interesting things, because he just came packed. Yeah.
Not really.
What is the nature of your
No?
cargo? What cargo do you wish to transport?
Oh, ourselves, really.
Oh, do you not have goods? Fine silks, jewelry. The crops to eat. Do you not have any goods to transport? It's just you, just people, just the little people, the big people.
Exactly.
I see. Asking if we have any baggage, luggage, anything other than just us to come along.
Do you have goods to trade? Is what I ask. Your baggage, your luggage. You wish to trade? Okay. I'm wondering about commercial goods. Do you have any commercial goods to trade?
No.
No commercial goods. So this is only personnel. You wish to go from place to place. You do not wish to die in the desert, I assume.
Well said.
That is a good assumption.
Oh, I understand. Okay. You wish safe passage, travel with my caravan. Astan is my name. He's going to hold out a hand. Who's your leader? Who represents you?
I'll point to the disc and the doctor. Our leader was
An
injured on our way
person.
here.
This is very unfortunate. He's going to grab your hand, rise, and shake it, unless you're going to resist.
No, I'm keen.
I see you are leader. Very good. I we'll do this. I will do this for you out of goodness of my heart. I find you in the middle of the desert. I charge you each 2 gold apiece. Come with the caravan. We shall travel without danger. Very easy, very safe. We
and
travel to the market of Uru Karan.
Vizara would ask, do you have any guards, any protection for this journey?
Any guards? Yes, we do have some guards. We have, as you can see, we have Quasi, who is our leader of security. And then there are more guards beneath Quasi.
Are they
I,
adequate?
Oh, yes, I assure you, very adequate. I assure you. No
We could-
inadequacies here.
We could potentially assist with security for a reduced rate.
Oh, assist with security. If we
I
get
don't want to
attacked,
speak for anyone else, but I'm keen to crack a skull to save some gold.
oh, roll a persuasion check when you say that.
can I offer water to assist with the persuasion?
Oh, are you going to offer him water right now?
Yeah, and tell him that I can offer him as much water as I need.
Oh,
14.
if you offer him water, he takes like a big like chug 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 water, and then he would say, "I see it. You guard too. You offer guard services." I am a stand.
Absolutely.
I am in charge of the caravan. I am the one in charge here. Are you offering to be guard as well?
I think we'd all be useful in a pinch.
I see.
Yes.
What did you roll, Avery?
I rolled 15.
He's going to say, "You look formidable. I think that you could be guard. I think that you travel for free if you keep night watch.
That is agreeable.
And you," he points to you, Rise. He's like, "I think you could travel for free if you be my personal bodyguard."
I'm willing and able.
Yes. Okay, very good. Then this one. He points at Endel, Enefi, Malik. Malik, are you making yourself known or are you still hiding?
No, I'm still hidden.
Okay. Roll a stealth check with advantage real quick, just to make sure that your hiding is still good. And he's going to point at everyone else basically and say, the rest of you, 2 gold a person, travel with the caravan. This is good business. You will not
22.
be accosted. Oh yeah, you're hidden. Very good.
Endel's gonna kind of like square up and look at him and kind of like put his hands on the hilts of his scimitars a little bit and kind of say, it's like, well, if you get into any fights, you want me to stay out of it for my 2 gold, or do you want me to get involved?
What? He looks at you, Rise and Avery. Well, Rise and I'm sorry, keep Vizara, and he says, "Does this little man speak for you? Is he speaking truth or is this joke? Is this joke?"
The little man is capable, yes.
I don't understand. He looks at you, and he's like, "What are you saying? Are you saying you wish to be guard as well? Do you want to ride camel? I don't understand. I don't understand what you want."
So, well, if you want safety, I'm pretty good with these weapons that I'm carrying. I don't carry them. I don't carry them for show.
Endel, you should roll an insight check real quick.
That is a natural one. So
Yeah, this guy just seems to be a tough customer. And Afi, you should roll an insight check too.
Insight? I don't have any insight. Why would I do that?
Uh-oh.
I am gonna start I'm gonna pull out one of my daggers and start twirling it. Like, I definitely know how to use these.
17.
And Afi, you're getting the unmistakable stench of racism toward little people. Like people who are smaller than a human, like a human or an elf. And then he kind of looks, he's like, "Oh, it does tricks."
Are you-
Is there something like soft but innocuous that I could throw a dagger at really quickly?
Yeah. There'd be there's like a little tree type thing over here, right next to where Malik is hiding.
I'm gonna throw a
perfect.
dagger at that tree and just like stick that tree like right in the little knot hole.
Roll an attack roll. You got to make
Oh,
a
boy.
10 to hit it.
Oh my goodness. Natural one. My dice. I've had exactly one nat 20. Everything else has been below 5 all night.
Well, what did you roll?
A natural one.
Oh, so you throw, and
Oh,
the
that's
dagger
brutal.
kind of rises in the air and then falls in the sand. And then he's like, "Oh, not good tricks, not good tricks. It doesn't do good tricks." He's gonna say, "Who does this belong to? Who does this little man belong to?" He's gonna look at you, Visara and Rise, like as in like, which one does he belong to?
Listen
Are
here.
you asking if one of us owns this man?
Yes, the little one.
Listen here. I belong to myself.
He seems to ignore you.
And maybe my aim is off today, but you know, if you think I belong to somebody, then maybe they should pay for me.
Roll a would you say that's a persuasion or an intimidation?
Well, it's probably more of a persuasion than intimidate. I'm not trying to intimidate him. I'm just trying to be like,
yeah.
well, like, yo.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check. Inafi, are you saying anything about this?
I'm just trying to work it out. Sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
I've got a couple of things in mind, but I'm not quite sure when to do them. So,
He is blinded by racism. I rolled a 2 on
Uh-oh.
persuasion.
Oka's
Whoa.
gonna,
I told you my dice are cold tonight.
Yeah.
They're
Oka's gonna
blood.
walk up and he's like, listen, you desert blind fool. I don't know what world corner you curl out of, but this man does not belong to anyone. He is our bodyguard. We are a group of adventurers. We were digging in a dig, and we have eventually ended up here. Yeah, you have no reason to accuse him of belonging to anyone. This is ridiculousness. This is racist. We shall pay the gold to travel with the caravan, and you would be lucky to have him as a guard if you did. If you do not, that is up to you. That is your business. But I will not hear of this madness that this little man belongs to anyone. He is not a little man. He is one of us, and you will treat him with such respect. Yes, we are from the
I'm going to place my hand on his shoulder. I'm going to try and hold Oka back.
Okay.
And calm him down. It's like, no, it's okay. I'll pay for the little ones, and I'll.
Oka kind of like looks over at you. He's like, "We are from the Historical Society of Greyhawk. This is an insult. This is a racist insult to call Endel a little person."
We're in a very strange land, my friend. We should maybe put our own views aside for a second until we're out of a desert.
Oh, roll a persuasion check on that.
Oh, yeah. 20.
Oh,
19 on the dice.
Oka kind of like listens to you for a minute, and actually, kind of a rare moment for Oka. He kind of seems to like take your advice, which is kind of actually kind of a remote. But he kind of listens to you, and he's like, "Okay," and he just kind of backs down a little bit.
I'm gonna go pick up my dagger.
Okay.
I'm really grumpy. The sun's hot. There's sweat in my eyes.
Estan is gonna say, "Okay, so we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gold, and then the other 2 of you come free. This one," he points at Rise, "is my personal bodyguard, and this one," he points at Avery, "is going to do guard duty at night. 8 gold, and then the rest of you come for free. Does this sound like good deal?" "Yes, good deal." He like
Bizarre.
points out
Oh, excuse me.
When,
Bizarre takes out 2 gold and flips it at him. You lost my god services.
Ooh.
okay. This is a great shame, but it's understandable. Take the gold. He takes the gold.
When Nindo comes over to pick up his dagger, I'll whisper to him to let him know I'm there, still watching.
Yeah.
You hear a whisper from the bushes.
Yeah. So, so something I do in my classroom as a real life teacher is I'll do like little hand signals to my students and stuff to like be like, wait a minute, look over here, look over there, you know, stuff like that. And I'll do one of those things as like basically a kind of signal of like, kind of hold your position, stay where you are, but eyes up.
Okay.
To just kind of communicate to him, like, keep doing what you're doing.
Malix actually understands sign language, so
it's not really. It's like a crude pantomime, but it's but it's something you would have been familiar with as a former student of mine.
So, so how many of you are giving gold to this caravan leader? So we have 2 gold from Vizara. Is Anafi giving him gold?
Yep.
Okay. So 2 gold from Anafi. Who else is giving him gold?
I'll give him 2.
Okay. So Endel gives him 2 gold.
As I hand it to him, I'm going to say like, oh wait, I'm paying you, so do I own you now?
It's a funny joke. He's gonna take the gold and just basically look over Endel, not even the rest of you can tell he seems to be legitimately racist against halflings, gnomes, He seems to be treating Endel with a level of disrespect that he's not treating the rest of you with. Well, except for Inafi, but he hasn't really interacted with Inafi at all.
Could I? What does it look to me like? That's just the way that everyone here is likely to talk. Or does he seem to have some kind of actual anger or something?
It doesn't look like anger, but you didn't notice the Quasm, the salamander. You did not notice him acting that way. It just seems to be this dude, Estan.
Okay. Thanks.
Upon all of these weird little interactions, the fact that he's ignoring Anafi, the way he's been talking to me, not currently in this moment necessarily, but I want to kind of clock him for the next couple of days and see how he treats other people.
Okay.
Other people who aren't human, maybe women, children, older people. You mentioned all those. I want to see how he treats others in general, or if this is he just thinks he's better than everybody, or
you're gonna keep an eye on him, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know, sort of a passive insight. I don't know, if I just want to kind of clock how he's treating people in general.
Gotcha. So if you guys join up with this group, basically he would. You notice the caravan is moving relatively slowly, and it moves actually pretty slowly. But you notice that, about not long after you guys start to interact with them, people start to break down the tents and start to kind of move the tents. And you realize that it kind of goes like this. The tents start to get broken down. They bring some camels over and they start to pack all of that stuff into the camel packs. And then they basically start to move out. And that starts to happen over the course of the next hour. This guy.
Are there any wagons? Are there any wagons to ride on or anything like that?
No, actually, there's no wagons. But when he walks away and he kind of goes to oversee the packing up of the tents, you do see that a woman approaches you. And I don't have a picture of her right handy at the moment, but there's this woman who approaches you, and she's wearing basically these they look more like traditional, basically just a like a cloak, and then she has a hood over, and then she has a mask over her face, like to keep the sand out. But it's not as ornamental as his is. Her skin is a little bit dark. She has dark hair, blue eyes, and she approaches you and she says, "Hey, my name is Sumi, and I've been told that you are new to the caravan, and I've come to basically act as your guide. I heard you paid for passage, and so I'm here to help you and answer your questions." She seems to speak much clearer common than Estan does.
Is there anything about the common that sounds like? Would we know if it sounds like ancient common? If you know what I mean, like does it?
Oh,
sound-
that's a good question. Roll a history check, actually.
10.
It sounds actually really different, but you can't quite put your finger on what about it. Sounds different. You can understand it, but it does sound quite different.
Okay. When she comes up to us, I'm gonna look to Oka, I guess, to see if he wants to talk to the guide, considering that's his role as well.
Oka's going to say, "We are here not by our own choice. There's something strange going on. We appeared in the desert and we must find our way home. But for the moment, it seems that we are in your caravan and we would appreciate any assistance, guidance you can give us. I will admit your friend Estan seems to be a racist fool. He has insulted my friend Endal, which is, to my opinion, very, very not right. And so I would say, what insight can you give us into this? How can we make this passage less abrasive and still get where we're going? And most of all, we want to get home to Greyhawk, to the College of Greyhawk. Surely you know what this is." That's what he says. And then she would say, "Well, about the racism, I'm sorry, I don't really know what to tell you. But I will say this, the College of Greyhawk, I'm not very educated, but I don't know anything about that. There is a college in Amaranthine. There's like a magical college there, like a college of wizards. Everyone knows about that college. There's a large city to the north called Zahith Karet. Maybe you can find passage there, but we're not going there. We're not going all the way there. We're going to Uru Karan, which is a small village about 100 miles north of here. And the road is quite dangerous. So, yeah, I'm employed to be a camel jockey, as they call us. I manage actually 2 camels. So, yeah. If there's anything I can do to help you.
Excuse me. Hi. Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah, I just have one question. How do we get to Aramanthi?
Amaranthine?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm not actually super I'm not super insightful about those things, but I think you have to go across the ocean. You have to go so for example, if you were to go to Zasif Kahet and you were to travel north, I think across the sea, I think if you reach the peninsula of the continent to the north, you would find Amaranthine. It's like at the edge of the peninsula, I think. I'm not very. I'm sorry. I haven't really gone to geography classes. I've been a camel jockey most of my life, actually. I'm really good with camels, actually.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't need help with camels, though. I might later. They look very big.
Question, because I, the player, know basically nothing about Greyhawk lore.
Yeah.
The fact that she doesn't know the city of Greyhawk, that would be like further solidifying in my mind that we're not in our home plane, correct?
No, yeah, 100%. Everyone knows about Greyhawk. So,
Okay.
yeah. No,
Like the fact that she doesn't know Greyhawk, it's like, wait, New York City? What's that?
yeah, no, for sure.
It's
Yeah,
like-
no.
Okay. All right.
In fact, here I'm going to show you a picture of this person. Give me just a moment to consult my notes. Wrong one. Hold on one second. But anyway, no, totally. She, her saying that she doesn't know about Greyhawk, and then talking to you about Amaranthine, and there's a wizards college there. Your like character's like, what the heck are you talking about? I've never heard.
Yeah.
Like your character knows about every college.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like.
So Amaranthine is a place here.
That's what she seems to be talking about. Yeah, but you've never heard of anything like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
I
So
will
we're all
let you know
packed
that.
up? Oh.
I will
You
let you
guys
know, boss, that Anafi has the Helm of Comprehend Languages on at all times.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that allows him at will to cast Comprehend Languages.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Well, just let me know if you. But so far, you haven't talked to anyone who hasn't really spoken.
No, I just thought I'd mention it now, just in case that our little caravan master is.
This is what Sumi looks like. This girl who's talking to you right now. Anyway, so with that being said, what would you guys? So you see the caravan kind of moving slowly. People are packing up the caravan tents, which actually kind of strikes you as strange because it seems to be about midday, and they're packing up these tents. But anyway, what would you like to do?
So it seems to be about midday. It was midday when we got here, and we've been walking for several hours.
Oh,
And
no, it was 2 hours. This okay, that's actually a good point. The sun has sunk about has sunk in one direction, which you would assume it would be west.
Okay.
About, a little bit, which seems to be relatively consistent with the world you came from. It's like, oh, if we appeared at midday, after 2 hours of time, the sun would sink that much.
Okay.
That part seems to be consistent relatively.
Okay. But it's still early, mid-afternoon.
Yes.
Okay.
Is the temperature dropping?
No. The temperature has remained hot and dry.
I'm just going to make sure everyone's had some water.
Oh, you're going to give everyone to drink?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Oh,
And I'm going
thank you
to
very much.
put some ice in the water as well with my.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Freeze it a bit with my cantrip.
Are you staying close to Astan as his bodyguard that you just got hired on for?
No, I'm staying with. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm staying closer to the doctor.
He hasn't noticed it yet.
But when I go to get my water skin filled up, I'm gonna kind of very subtly motion over toward the bush where Malik is hiding, and be like, "Hey, he's gonna be thirsty too," but just very, very low key, kind of be like, "Hey, our guy in the bush is over there. He's probably parched."
Now, as you guys are doing this, you notice that this woman, Sumi, she's like walking over, and there's some people tearing down the tents and stuff. And you notice that she starts to kind of help, and you notice that there's these two children. There's these two little kids who are helping to tear down the tents. And she starts kind of talking to them a lot and interacting with them a lot. That kind of leads you to assume that maybe she's related to them or something. But they're like tearing down stuff. They're doing like hard manual labor. And she's like kind of helping them. And you guys are just there, in the area. But, she starts helping them. And anyway, she's referring to them. There's a boy and a girl. She's referring to them as Benji and Carlo. Benji being the boy and Carlo being the girl.
So you said this is 2 children and her are doing this?
Yeah, they're about like maybe 9-ish years old. One might be like 10 and one might be like 8. But yes.
Vizara is going to go over and offer assistance.
So as you walk over there, she's going to say, "Oh, well, thank you, but you've paid for passage. You're not required to help us tear down the tents and things like that. Me and my children can do it just fine."
I wasn't asking out of or offering out of any sense of duty. I was offering out of sense of concern.
Oh, well, thank you. But this is our job. I'm here to help acclimate new hires, and then my children, they help tear down and set up the tents as we go along. This is a daily task, and this is how we pay for our living, really. She's like, but sometimes I help them because the labor is quite intense. If there's nothing for me to do, then I help them tear down these tents because it is quite difficult.
That was my worry.
She's like, what do you mean?
I would not enjoy seeing either of these 2 small children be injured.
Oh, well, you're so kind. She's going to kind of turn around to face you. And she's going to kind of walk up to you and she's going to say, "Look, you're so kind, but the truth is, we've been doing this for about a year now, and it's the best way to earn a little bit of coin. When we reach Uru-Karan, we're going to be able to get a room. We're going to be able to afford a nice dinner. We're going to be able to take a bath. And, we'll have a couple days of relaxation before the next caravan leaves. And, that's like our, reward for all the hard work we do on the caravan. And we go with we travel with Istan because he offers us, a decent day's wages for a decent day's work. And the fact that me and my children can make this pilgrimage, and that we can manage to afford a life for ourselves, this is far better than I would get if I stayed in the cities. Maybe if I were a prostitute or if I worked on the docks, but the docks are very hard work. And, I don't know if I could survive on the docks, and my children surely couldn't survive on the docks if we went to the port. And so this lifestyle, this is the best I've been able to find since my husband died.
So this is fair work you're receiving.
I'm sorry, what was that?
This is fair work you're receiving.
Well, it's decent work. I mean, this desert is a harsh place, but at least here we're, somewhat protected from nefarious figures who try to take advantage of us. Istan is strange, but he's not unfair, I guess.
And this is Stan. He doesn't presume to own your children or anything because they're smaller than him.
So when you say that, roll an insight check.
17.
So she kind of looks down at the sand and she would say, no, of course not. But you detect there's something strange about her answer.
I kind of narrow my eyes at her. Like, why do you look away when you say this? Does Istan own you?
She's going to say, no, of course he doesn't own me. But, I mean...
You say like it's ridiculous, yet he spoke of owning people like it was common.
No, it's nothing. I shan't speak of it now. This is ridiculous. My feelings run away with me. We have work to do. And she kind of tries to avoid the topic. You get the sense.
I would let it go.
Now, Malik, you should roll a perception check.
Okay.
Whilst the kids are struggling to pack up the gear, Anafi will use his mage
17.
hand and try to give them a hand using the mage hand to pack up the gear.
Oh, yeah. No, you could totally help them. And they would start to notice it. They'd be like, what's going on? Here, we're going to get to that in a minute, but Malik, you rolled a 17. You notice that this salamander, Quasm, seems to be kind of lurking over in this corner over here. And while the conversation's going on, while she's talking to him, or while she's talking to her, like while Sumi is talking to, man, I keep getting the name wrong. What is the name? Vizara. While Sumi keeps talking to Vizara, you get the sense that this Quasm is like watching the conversation and kind of listening in on it. And you see this like strange grin appear across Quasm's face.
At what point in the conversation does he grin?
It's exactly when Vizara mentions, well, does he own the children? And then there's the weird point where Sumi kind of looks down at the sand. It doesn't answer. You see that the salamander's face, he kind of has this grin appear, and you see his fangs kind of come out, and he kind of licks his lips in a very kind of creepy way. And you can tell he doesn't notice you, like he doesn't see you, but he's watching the interaction. And then he kind of turns and slithers away.
Can I clock his stun at all?
Can you what now?
Can I see him? Like, what is he doing while everyone else is, doing all this intense physical labor?
You mean Quasm?
No, Istan.
Oh, Istan? No, so he goes into like the tent, like the last one, the one that's not being torn down quite yet. And you see him pour like basically a glass of wine and start to drink it. And he just walks to the edge of the tent and he just kind of like watches as the tents are being broken down. And then every once in a while, one of the people from the caravan will run up to him with like a report, and he'll like excitedly tell them things, and they'll like run off. And then he'll like pour himself another glass of wine, and he'll just like keep watching as the stuff's. And then whenever they get to this tent, he'll just be like, oh, okay. And he'll just like exit, and he'll be like, Quasm, bring my wine. And then Quasm will like get a tray and carry his wine after him. And then they'll like leave that tent.
Okay, so Quasm is like subservient to Istan.
It does seem that way, yes.
How many other kids are around?
So you see other kids at the caravan, but you don't see other kids breaking down this particular campsite thing. Like you do see like a handful of other elderly people breaking this down. It's actually really interesting. You see there are like 6 other very elderly humans. And when I say very elderly, I mean like 70 plus years old, working on the tents. And they're just like, I mean, it's very hard labor. And these people are like breaking it down, and they're just like very tired. They're like really broken down. They're like breaking down these tents. And then there's these 2 kids working on it. And then Sumi is working on it. But she's like, so in this exact area with these tents here, she seems to be the only person between the ages of like 18 and 50 working on the tents. There's her two kids, and then there's like 6 other adults who are like probably over 70 from what you can guesstimate, and they all seem humans very specifically, and they're all just like working on it, but they're very like tired and they're struggling to do it. So that's who's actually breaking down the tents in this campsite. And you also notice that this campsite seems to be like, in a strange way, like one of them seems to be like, you kind of hear people muttering and talking. One of them seems to be where Astan keeps his clothes. One of them is where he keeps his jewelry. One of them is actually his relaxation tent. And the other one is where he sleeps. So all 4 of the tents are Astan's tents. That's something you pick up on too as you're watching people break down the campsite. But you'll notice. Oh, go ahead.
Nafi will turn to Sumi and ask, so is it usual to like pack up your tents in the middle of the afternoon?
Oh, she's like, well, so what we do is we pack up the tents at this point in the day, and then we race them ahead via the fresh camels, and we set up Astan's camp. So he'll be making camp while the rest of the caravan catches up, and he'll get to like relax for the longest duration. And then we'll reach a point where the caravan is passing him, and we'll tear it down again and then like race it forward. So he always has like his his relaxation area set up basically.
And Nafi is just shell-shocked. I don't understand.
She's like, "Oh, is that not normal?"
I wouldn't think so.
Oh,
I would have thought that you packed up the tents at the start of your traveling time, and everyone packed up and everyone moved together until the end of your traveling time, where you set up again.
Oh, well, the caravan, it tends to stop a couple hours after sundown, and then it starts, a little bit later because we travel into the night a bit. Because the early part of the day tends to be the hardest.
Yes, I would imagine that with all this sun and open areas, and it would be very, very hot at midday. It makes sense to be camped then. But
She's
why unpack now? Like, why move now? Why not wait till it cools down?
She says, it is very hot at midday, but what Astan likes to do is he likes to kind of like line up the hottest part of the day with when we have the camp fully set up.
I still find it amazing how you all dote on him. Is he?
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he pays our salaries, and it's not like, I mean, I guess I could quit, but like, what choice do I have? I could go, to be really honest, my second best choice would be to work the docks, and I can't work the docks. I can't do that. Do you know how violent the docks are? It'd be so bad.
I've
And
heard stories.
Yeah. And then my children, what would they do? They surely couldn't work the docks. So, little Benji and Carlo, like they do the best they can here. And, he has said that he has grand plans for them because they've been so devoted for the last year,
He's going to give them an education.
Yeah. I hope so. That's the plan. Maybe they'll learn to lead caravans one day. Maybe.
Does she believe that?
Roll an insight check.
Come on, dice. 9.
A 9 altogether.
You're working your way back up from 1 though.
I'm telling you, it's bad.
You're not sure that you believe her entirely. You're not sure that you
Okay.
believe her entirely.
Yeah. It's one of those nights.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give you this one because it's just so obvious. Endel is thinking more like, no, you think they're gonna learn to be great caravan servants, is what Endel is thinking.
They're going to wind up like those old people over there.
Yeah, they're gonna wind up like the old people.
So I'm sitting under that tree, and I pour myself some water and just kind of casually leave it on the ground, so that Malik can eventually have it. But I don't like look at him or talk to him or anything. I don't want to blow his cover. But I'm sitting and listening to everything, and I'm kind of laughing to myself because because I've grown up in deserts and I'm really used to seeing people from all different cultures and just letting them be. But all these city people are really showing themselves up by their shock that people live differently than they do in their city. So I'm quite comfortable letting all these people live their own lives. But it's amusing me. It's amusing me seeing everyone from the university not be able to handle that.
Okay. Malik, are you taking a drink of the water?
I'll eventually take a drink.
Okay. Now, at this point, I would like everyone to roll me a quick, let's see. It would be I want everyone to roll me a straight percentiles roll as we begin to wind down the session to see if something is happening.
Perception or percentile?
Oh, percentiles, yeah. So a D100.
Yep.
Roll me a D100.
Uh, 50.
What was that?
6.
What, did someone roll a 6?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I got 68.
68. Avery, you said a 50 something?
58.
58? Okay.
59.
59.
28.
28. Who rolled the 6?
Malik.
Malik? Okay, Malik. Now, as we begin to end the session, here's what happens. We're going to start to wind it down here. So, Malik, you're there hiding in the bushes. And not too far away from you is the doctor. She is on Tensor's floating disc. Every once in a while she'll groan in pain. She's holding on to that hourglass, that big hourglass, this large, it's like the size of a 5-gallon bucket. She's holding on to it. And Malik, for some reason, your eyes are drawn to it. And it's almost like you cannot tear them away. And then a strange thing happens. You see one little grain of sand fall through the hourglass. It just falls down through it. It's just like it falls down into the bottom section. One little, and it's like from this distance, it could be argued you couldn't even see one grain, but you see it. You see one grain of sand fall down there. And then suddenly, as you watch it, you're pulled into this hypnosis. And you see the world open up into a black oblivion. You see stars. You see something racing amongst the stars, some kind of river, but it's not water. What is it? And then you hear a bell clanging in the distance. And then you hear a voice in a strange accent call, "Ahoy! Ahoy!" And you smell what smells like the scent of salt water. But then no sooner do you see this than you pull yourself out of the vision. And then you look at her again, and you look at the hourglass, and you see that no sand has fallen. It just looks exactly like it did. All the sand is at the top end. And that is where we are going to leave it for the end of this session. I would like to thank all of our players for playing with us. I'd like to thank all of our Ko-Fi supporters for supporting the channel. We will be back. I'm not quite sure when we're going to be back. Maybe in a couple of weeks. Maybe 3 weeks. 2 weeks. But one thing that can be sure, this group has fallen in with some kind of caravan, and from the sound of it, I'm not sure that they're on the same page. So what's going to happen? This is a great question. We will find out in the next episode of Dunes of Fate.